Okay, this is really excited to learn this species. This one is new one to me. This is Quercus Bicolor. Bicolor meaning two-colored, and I'll show you the meaning of that in just a moment. So this is swamp white oak. And so yeah, as you're looking at the leaves, you might think to yourself, okay, those look pretty much like white oak. But something you might notice about them, right? So they've got the lobing that's rounded just like white oak, and you can see that there's no bristle tips on the ends of the leaves. But the specific epithet bicolor refers to the two-colored backside of the leaf. So if I flip this over, right, you can see how whitish the backsides of the leaves are, and that's something that's not typical for Quercus alba. You can also see that these leaves are dark green and shiny, and they're a lot thicker than white oak leaves. I've got some acorns here developing, right? So we know that white oak acorns develop in the fall and drop in the fall because they're very tasty and highly prized by wildlife. And these are no exception. And you can see they're big, fat acorns, not too dissimilar from white oak, but you can see that the caps are quite different. They're a little bit shaggy instead of having that cobbled color, but they're about the same size, maybe a little fatter, and about the same length as white oak acorns. So another really good character for Quercus bicolor is the bark. So you can see it's peely and flaky, similar to white oak, or swamp chestnut oak is another one we'll learn. But a character I learned for the twigs that I can really see here is that those twigs are very peely and flaky also. And so if you're trying to decide whether you've got Quercus bicolor versus Quercus alba or Quercus michoii, you should look at those twigs to see if they are peely. Looking at the leaves again, right, so they're obovate in shape, but they are lobed, and you know, they're not quite as deeply lobed as white oak, but those rounded definitely gets you to the white oak group. And the developing acorns, but you want to look at the backside of those leaves to see that white fuzziness on the backside that tells you that it's Quercus bicolor. So it's a pretty cool tree because it is one that is found in the Piedmont, not so much a coastal plain species, but it is found in swamps, and so not very many counties found in North Carolina. It is, because it's a wetland species, it is often planted for landscaping, so it can deal with compacted soil. But grown in the wild, this is actually a North Carolina watch list species, so pretty rare to see in North Carolina. As you can see from the trunk, it does have a lot of branching, and so the wood use is not quite as good as regular white oak or Quercus alba. It is used somewhat for flooring and furniture, but not to the same degree as white oak, and it's also fairly rare. So most commonly you'll probably see it planted. This is planted here along a Raleigh Greenway. So that's Quercus bicolor. As you might guess, the fruits have very high wildlife value, right? They germinate in the fall and they have low levels of tannins. So they have the same wildlife use as Quercus alba. So that is Quercus bicolor, right? Bicolor meaning two-colored, right? Looking at the leaf surface and then at the leaf backside and in the Fag ACE.